Hello and welcome back to Talk Seagulls, and we're back in the Caxton Arms with Brett again. You know what? Everyone loved Brett so much last time and the time before that we thought we had to get him back down. How are you feeling to be back on, Brett? It's good to see you.
No, I absolutely love it. So thanks for having me back. I'm surprised for the feedback that we got last time and the amount of views. So I'm more than happy to come back.
Of course, it's the people love Brett. If you want to see Brett more, make sure you like and. I saw this on your Instagram story and I thought I have to get this in the backdrop before we start. What is it? Because I see Fatboy Slim and I see a cool looking kit.
So Admiral, like as a football manufacturing company that famous for kits in the 70s, 80s and 90s, and they were doing a project where they're trying to make football shirts to celebrate 90s icons. So they've done a Spice Girls shirt and now this Fatboy Slim shirt's come about. My mate at Modfather, Admiral approached Modfather, and Dan, the owner there, knew I was a Brighton fan. And then he'd heard about this shirt and he'd asked if I'd got it, and I did. So my shirt went off with Admiral for the template to make this.
Yeah.
I was around Fatboy Slim's house yesterday, just going over the shirt and just chatting about it, which is a bit weird. It's a surreal day in my life. But sat in Fatboy Slim's kitchen having a coffee, watching the sea, and just chatting about a football shirt.
Well, Fatboy Slim. Wow, that's pretty mad. To be fair, I think it looks cool as well. It looks like a lot like what I'd imagine a Fatboy Slim shirt to look like, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So that came out in 95, I think 96, which was the year Fatboy Slim started. So it's
cool.
It's like a good representation of him.
Excellent, love that. And we'll need to get him on the podcast. That's what people want. Norman, if you're listening, please do. Anyway, back onto Brighton at the moment, because luckily we've had a bit to talk about since the last time. We've had a pre-season friendly which was streamed exclusively to My Albion TV members. Or £38, whatever it was. Unless you got an email with the code, then you're all right. Took me quite a while to work that out, to be fair. I think I missed the first 20 minutes, but it was an interesting game to look back on, actually. Quite a lot of I know it's only pre-season, it's not the real sort of be-all and end-all of anything, but you get to see sort of what the manager's thinking, what the players, could potentially break out. There's a couple of names that I wanted to bring to you, and those were Caelan Vickers and Facundo Buonanotte, and of course Malik Yalkuye, who I've been told to pronounce like that. Three players that really stood out to me, and three players that probably you wouldn't associate to being in the first team this season. But it's quite exciting, isn't it, having three young players, particularly Facundo, who we know more of. But three young players nonetheless who could potentially be breakout stars and jump the queue.
Yeah, Buonanotte, Leicester fans seem to love him, and he never got played by Van Nistelrooy. And he's one that he has the heart and the passion as well as the skill, which is a rare mix. And for me, I've always liked him for that. I think if we're gonna get rid of Enciso, I guess, then his chance, because we've got I don't know how many left-footed number 10s we've got, but we've got Ruta, we've got Gruda, and now Buonanotte. Maybe Harvey Elliott, who knows? But
dead in the water.
He looked really good. Again, he was just biting at the ankles of the Stoke players right from the off. Got a couple of assists as well, didn't he? I think. Yeah, and Vickers as well. He got an assist with a bit of tricky wing play and really quick feet, and then crossed it over. And was it Coppola got the header for a goal 2 minutes after coming on?
I like the look of Coppola, but from the basis of he's just an absolute unit. He's a big centre back, which is what you want really from a centre back. But he's got that sort of aerial dominance. It was quite nice to see actually a centre back get his head on something. How many times we've had these balls over the box that we would always wonder. We've got all these centre backs, but never really got the most goals out of them. I think the last player to really do it was probably Shane Duffy, maybe. Duncan contributed a few times. Webster had a few headers over the years, but I don't think we've really mastered the crackdown on defenders scoring. No. And I think that's one thing that Hertzler had at St. Pauli was he wanted to bring here was his set pieces and the emphasis on getting goals across the whole pitch. So it's interesting that Coppola's been able to do that. Maybe it's a little bit more deeper thought out than we think. But particularly as you say, Facundo is interesting to me because he's one that has taken a long time for us to really see. You think he signed for us when he was 17 under De Zerbi, and it was questions whether he goes on loan because he was a bit lightweight for the Premier League. And I should say he had a good time at Leicester. but for probably some falling outs. So I think it would be quite nice to see him stay. We've not seen Tommy Watson yet. Perhaps he's got a knock or he's not quite fit enough to be playing yet. So for that alone, I think you probably could do with an extra name. And I think I would hate to lose Facundo Buonanotte, put it that way. I think he's a massive talent.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I think he might not be in the starting 11, but when he's getting his chance, he's probably going to take it. And as I said, like the fight he's got for the team, which not many of our players have.
Isn't he?
Yeah. So I'm more than happy for him to stay.
Yeah, agree. And Malik Yakuye, this is a really interesting one to me, because I remember when we signed him and it was like, we've got another, Brighton have done it again, was what we were saying. We've got another gem. And, you think, okay, is this going to be one that we look back on in 3 years and then breaks out like Caicedo or something? And then he went on to Sturm Graz in Austria, had a good season there. I think he played in Champions League, which is very promising. I was told quite well that he played a lot, but he was also quite lightweight, so they shifted him out to the right side. But I think as well what you saw the other day even, was he sort of played that deep line playmaker role, which we haven't really used enough of, I would say. Those little threaded passes. Probably the last player to try and do that was Gilmour for us, and I think more rounded player potentially could be Yakuye. And I love that idea of having someone that's ready to thread those passes and that's ready to make themselves a bit of a presence in midfield alongside Carlos Baleba, etc.
No, I agree. Because most of our goals tend to be get it out wide, get it in the box. And so if we've got a different way of like threading the balls inside the fullback, then it's only going to help our cause, especially with Patoma and Minter and full flight. That's probably our best way of unlocking defences. So we need to find as many different ways of attacking and scoring, especially if the defence doesn't gel straight away and we're still conceding a couple of goals every game.
Yeah, that's the big point actually that you mentioned, because I noticed a lot of transitions on us. I mean, I'd say it's only pre-season, don't want to overreact. But the one sort of common denominator of last season and now still was that those transitions, those counter-attacks, which we got caught out so regularly last year. And I remember so often was it with the Southampton game, the Leicester game, the Wolves games, and they all came from the same sort of scenario where we've almost just capitulated and conceded 2 or 3 goals with, little to no real, sight of even that happening. And more often than not, that did come from a transition. And I think that's one thing that we do need to focus on. I don't know how we get it, because I do believe that we've got enough players, ball-winning players in that squad to be able to to combat that issue. I think Baleba can play. We've seen him at centre back. We've seen him sort of hold in midfield, but obviously he likes to get forward. Mats Wiefer was supposed to be this, proper sort of midfielder. Again, we've not really seen him, but good in the challenge. He was good out on the right, particularly sort of in duels. That's what, to me, I think we need to, to have a perfect rounded side. That's probably the one thing that is our biggest problem is those ball-winning players. There's players that are going to stop something from happening before it does.
Yeah, I said I know it's pre-season friendlies, but even against Wickham, we saw them just breaking up play and just counter-attacking straight away. And I think they might have scored from one, and then Steele made a couple of good saves against Wickham, and then it happened a couple of times against Stoke, wasn't it? But then again, all the good football we play, you can't let all the negatives take the headlines.
No, of course
so
not.
there's still a lot to work on as pre-season, and we've won 2 games, and Villa played Walsall last night, and then they lost, but the admin team, the social media team, just put minutes in the tank and didn't put what the score was just to avoid meltdowns. So
I think you're right. I think it's important to look at the positives as much as the negatives. I think the positives for me, as I say, I mentioned his name just a minute ago, but Caelan Vickers looked really interesting. Really interesting player, alongside obviously Harry Howe, another sort of breakout player. But with Vickers, it's a bit different because he obviously had that loan at Mansfield last season, and the season before that was obviously quite a regular in that Reading side. He established himself as being such a good player there. And, unfortunately for Reading, in the situation they're in, they sort of had to get rid of their best players. And Vickers is one of them. I think it's a bit like Kamari Doyle when he came from Southampton. You sort of had 2 players there that are coming over that are actually very good from where they've come from at the first team level. Vickers, he was very exciting on the wings. As you say, that cross to Coppola was interesting, but I don't know if he's going to be one that actually stays here for next season. But he's certainly making a case for him to be taken seriously, if you like, because he had the game in Wickham as well.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. Like, and I'm glad that Hertz has given these kids a chance as well. Like, everyone's got a clean slate. He hasn't just gone, this is my squad. Everyone else, just you find somewhere else to go.
Yeah.
So he's given everyone a chance, and hopefully people take it, and gives them a real dilemma of who to actually pick for. 25, I guess. So, but then kids at that age, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because they don't count. So
no.
But if he's given Hertzler a headache to be picked, then that's brilliant.
That's the thing. The squad is when you look at it on a sort of on paper, if you like, you're like, just loads and loads of sort of young players. It's really easy to disregard that, you know. And I think when I look back on the 2018-19 season, I remember we had Victor Gyökeres, we had Ben White in our academy, right? And they're scoring goals, they're assisting goals together. And obviously, their two players, apart from Ben White, obviously broke out. But Victor Gyökeres was probably one that would look back and be like, we let him go. But again, these are names that from the past, you wouldn't think, we're going to watch Victor Gyökeres here because we have to. It was a case of he just didn't work out, and it wasn't a surprise to see him go. But what I'm trying to say is, when you're looking at the young players in that academy now, or the young players that are on that preseason now, you really don't know who's going to break out. It could genuinely be anyone. And as we've seen over the last few years, players break out all the time. You know, Van Hecke and Yassine Ayari recently. You know. Yeah, exactly.
Like, and there's people that you think, they're really good, they're going to make it, and then they just disappear. So it works both ways. So it's really, really hard to tell. But the percentage of footballers that actually make it is so small.
I know.
So yeah, we've done well with our reputation to get all these youngsters in. And the majority of the time, we've recruited really well. So
I hope to see one. I don't know who it's going to be yet. I think Yalkuye could be the one that we look back this season and maybe one that was supposed to go on loan that convinces not to. I don't want to say Buonanotte breakout because I feel like he's already sort of been in the first 11. But of a pure breakout, I'd love to see Yalkuye do it. I think he could be one that we look back and say he's gone from, you know, someone that we didn't even really think about to being one of our most important players.
Yeah, I agree. But for me, I think I'd like it to be Harry Howe, just because it's
Baby
nice
Cole Palmer, I think.
Yeah, just because it's nice to have like Sussex players back in the team where we're losing a few now. So like Hinchelwood, like Dunk's been there for years. We got March, who's I don't know really what he's doing now. Never seems quite fit enough.
He's getting some treatment at the moment, which is a shame.
And then like Hinchelwood's obviously breaking through, so the more the merrier. For me, just having local lads in makes the
100%. I mean, Charlie Tasker's another one.
Yeah.
You know, he's been looking quite smart, especially at right back. He's been playing, but I think he is a centre back by nature. But again, another local boy. Shout out to Noz, who goes on about him all the time on Twitter because it's one of his best mates, and I think that's great. You know, we've got friends of friends literally in the first team now and within that team. I think that's just, you know, if that's what Brighton is, then that's what, you know, that's great to me. You know, seeing friends of friends in teams, it's crazy. And I hope again that you see these players more regularly rather than they get shipped out on loan and you don't get to ever see them again.
I agree. Well, I grew up in a friendship group with Jack Stern, so when he came back to the club, it was really nice to see him. Like, obviously, how passionate he is about the club that he's loved as a kid. He was there in the youth team, and then he went out, and then he went over to America, and then he came back. So it was good to see him come back, and like more stories like that. And it gives kids, like in Sussex, like the inspiration that they can make it, rather than just having another wonder kid from South America or Greece. True. So as much as we're doing that, having a couple of local people in, I'm all for it.
Yeah, agree. We've got, how many now? 5, do you reckon? Howell, March obviously is technically there. Dunk, would you call Webster local? He's Chichester, isn't he?
Well, I guess so, yeah.
He's a Sussex boy nonetheless. Tasker and Hinchelwood. And that's 6 that I can count at the moment from Sussex-based sort of young players. That's quite incredible, really. Don't think there's going to be many out there that can replicate that sort of thing, especially at first team level. But no, I do agree with you. I do agree with you for sure. A couple of things I wanted to mention actually was one of them is the North Stand now has safe standing. If you were to look on Twitter, a shout out to Andrew, I think the guy's name was that tweeted that he does some stuff for We Are Brighton as well. But a safe standing has been talked about for a long time, isn't it? There's been talk of a lot of Amex upgrades, but. How do you feel about that first and foremost?
I didn't realise it was coming in this season, so that's great. But I guess it's needed. Everyone stood anyway, didn't they? So it's more of a box ticking exercise, maybe. I don't know. No, it's more than that. Like to make it safe and allow people to do it rather than having a steward turning to sit down. Yeah, is a much better way of doing it, and hopefully it generates a bit more atmosphere.
Well, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? I shouted out the North 9 lads who came on the episode last few times ago because they're trying to get more people into one sort of congregated area to start a little bit more atmosphere, because it's been the biggest thing really, isn't it, about the Amex, since all the great stuff on the pitch have been really improving, but probably you would say the fan base has sort of struggled to get behind it a little bit. But there's a variety of reasons. I know it's not just the fact that they don't sing on the day. I know that there's a lot of underlying factors as well, which I can discount for, but ultimately, you want to see the best atmospheres, and I think that's one thing that we definitely need to try and do our bit to do. To be honest,
I agree. Like as I said before, it's just a nice day out for away fans, isn't it? Like, there was very rarely a volatile atmosphere at the Amex, but when it does happen, it's bloody loud, and I love it. But, you seem to have, like the North Stand seems to be in 3 sections and 3 chants being sung at the same time. And then the only one that ever kicks off is the Albion.
Yeah, it's the only one that is that's a bit drowning in itself. It sort of just dies down a little bit, and you sort of want something that keeps the sound going higher. And I think that's one thing we don't have enough songs that do. Like nothing that goes this way. Because by the time we go in Albion, it's going back down again. So I think, obviously it's a historic chant, isn't it? But it's not enough to get a ground moving. And as you say, we've given so many nights out to these teams that come down. I can think of so many teams that are just having a party towards the end of last season. And it's annoying. And you want to see that change. And I think there is a thing of the fans being moved, but that's not till the season after next, or this, should I say. And I think that's what's frustrating for me. I'd like to see a bit more atmosphere, but again, there's a variety of underlying reasons.
Every time we get a good chant for a player going, the player gets sold. So
that's true.
It's so annoying.
That's
so
true.
To start again.
As I say, there's plenty of reasons as to why there isn't, but there's also enough of a thing to say. Don't leave so early and start singing a little bit more while you're there, because ultimately you don't pay to go to football to go home. But it is what it is. A couple other names that we haven't mentioned is the Greek kids who we've not seen yet. Stefanos Simas and Charalampos Kostoulas, or aka
I can't say that.
Babis. Babis Kostoulas. I think I've been told that I didn't mention Simas enough, and so I looked into a little bit of him. A very mobile, sort of very good ball carrying striker who looks quite interesting, sort of as a player that can receive the ball from deep. And I was thinking of players like Danny Welbeck and Joao Pedro. Obviously, Pedro is just gone. But one thing that you'd always say about Pedro is his ability to bring the ball from so deep and sort of drive it and make something happen. You look back on that goal against Crystal Palace last season. There's one thing doing that, and there's another thing actually finishing it off, obviously. But it's nice to see that there is a player in the level of Simas that, he is only, 19 years old. It's another high potential player, and potentially if he's got his best mate Babis next to him, we've got 2 wonder kids, really, haven't we?
Yeah, I said I don't really know much about the Greek league, and so I don't know how
he played at Nuremberg last season in the German league, so it's a bit more of an exciting one.
So I don't know. To me, they're both unknown, so I've no expectations of them. But we've paid quite a lot of money for both of them, so you'd hope neither of them will get sent out on loan, and they're both both in the first team. I believe it is fitness related as to why they're not in the squad yet. I think
it was Dimitris put a piece on that said that they're not quite ready, but it would be quite nice to see them hopefully sooner rather than later, just to be able to see potentially what we're in for. It does say a lot about the sort of squad we're building. Jorginho obviously contributed to a goal. We had a lot of chances there where he could have scored a few more. But ultimately, that's the sort of thing we sort of need. Losing Joao Pedro, you're effectively taking out 20 goals, aren't you? And to replace those 20 goals, you probably got to look at at the moment, at the way the squad is at the moment, you've got to look at the Greek kids because unfortunately that just is how the squad's set up at the moment, right?
Yeah. So we've never had the 20-goal striker, so we've always tried to spread the goals out across the attacking players of like 6, 7, 8 goals each. So I don't think we're going to change that model. Welbeck's never been the most prolific, but he's so good at what he does. So if he brings everyone else into play, and Matoma gets another 10, Minter gets 10. Babis gets 10, where Gruder gets 10, then we're laughing. But
Babis to get 10 would be brilliant.
Yeah.
I think another name on there is Tommy Watson, who again I feel like I've not mentioned at all. But I watched his first interview. He's out on the camp. I think again he's got a bit of a fitness issue, hence why he's not been playing yet. So hence possibly Facundo staying. But Watson is a very exciting player. As I said last time out, he has that sort of special moment factor, as we saw in that playoff final. But one thing that he did say towards the end of that interview, if anyone did listen to it, was that the manager, aka Fabian Herzler, has said that he wants to aim for top 5 this season. And if that's the aim, early on, obviously things do change over the course of a season. Top 5 for Brighton in the Premier League, is that possible?
I love it. No, I love the ambition. Like, we don't want to just get top 10 again, even though that's the long-term project ambition of being a constant top 10 club. We're pushing for Europe top 5, especially, which is Champions League, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Bloom's obviously very, very ambitious, and I think his wallet's shown that with the signings that we've made over the last couple of windows. So you kind of some people question what Bloom does, but he seems to be like 2 moves ahead of what everyone's thinking, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So now it might come into fruition, and this top 5. Just imagine us playing in the Champions League. It's just hearing that theme tune in the Amex.
What would you even do? Like,
I'll probably cry.
I've never cried at football, but
that's just something you see on TV. It's not.
Yeah, you see Villa do it, and that felt pretty magical, to be honest.
Yeah, that was it. Brighton, they played at home.
Newcastle was like, but the Newcastle wasn't quite as fun.
No.
Villas, they spent a lot of money, but we spent a lot of money, to be fair. So I guess if we were together, everyone would say the same. Forest getting it would have been pretty magic, and I think. Yeah, it's starting to open up. The Premier League's starting to open up. There's opportunities for more than just the big 6, and. What I always think is we are the team that teams want to be in that top 6. I don't care what anyone says. Don't care if anyone wants to say no, you're not. We are. And everyone wanted to have the model of Brighton. Everyone wanted to have the whole recruitment. Everyone wanted to have this contingency plan. They wanted to have the young wonder kids they sell for 100 million and replace them with someone better. And that was the Brighton way. And we were leading the way to get that. And that's why last season I was probably more critical, was because it just felt like that regression kicked in a little bit. And you're just watching teams like Nottingham Forest, teams like Aston Villa, teams like Newcastle, who have got considerably more money in the bigger bank than us, and you're thinking if they get there before us, they'll stay there most likely. And it knocks out another few years. And ultimately, I'm watching football to be watching Brighton either at the highest level or to be entertained. Right, that's just how we are. And that was my frustration last season. I wanted to see that, and I still think I don't know if you agree with me, but we are that team that could be there, and we should be there.
No, I don't know if we should be there, but we've got to remember where we've come from a little bit. But we've got no divine right to be there, but we have every opportunity to get there. And in the model that we work with, it's amazing that we even do that with, like as you say, we're selling our best players but come back even stronger. It's like you cut off one arm and 2 grow back. It's brilliant. But top 5, I'm happy to go with that. So I'm going to stick with that.
We said top 6 last week. So, top 5 is only one place above.
Yeah. Annoyingly, I think Chelsea are looking quite good now. So it's who's on the decline a bit more. Maybe City, who knows? But I don't think they'll drop out the top 5.
I think they're still signing some good players. I think this season they'll be back again.
So you'll have Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, City at the top.
Yeah, Tottenham are spending.
I think they're still a while away from getting good, which is why we've got to kind of do it soon. And like Villa will find their feet again at some point. I think they've had a bit of PSR issues, haven't they? So they can't spend as big as they want to. So there's an opportunity there for breaking into the top 6 that way.
Yeah.
And like Brentford, they've sold everyone, lost the manager. Fulham, they were right up there with us as well, and Bournemouth.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're going to be as strong this year.
I feel like Brentford will fall a bit. That losing Thomas Frank, they've obviously losing potentially Visser, potentially Mbermo. Their recruitment is good, but I don't put it on the level of Brighton's at all. They're very one-dimensional, I think. Fulham are good. Again, I think we should be above Fulham. Like I look at Fulham and say that's where we should be. I look at Villa, Newcastle, and think we should be competing with them guys.
Newcastle off that top 5.
Newcastle are in there, of course, and they'll be spending big, of course. Well, provided I think they're keeping these out. Obviously, listening out on Ekitike now, but it looks like they're probably going to buy another striker. There'll be a serious team. They're talking about Benjamin Sesko, which obviously opens up Arsenal signing Victor Gyökeres, which I'll mention his name again now, and I'm going to ask the question. Do you think he'd celebrate against us if he scored? Because I feel like he would.
I don't have a problem with it if he did.
No.
He didn't. Did he even play the first team game?
I think he played like twice. Cups only though. Never played Prem.
No, if he celebrates, fair play to him. We're not like a huge part of his career. I think we get. Coventry get a 10%?
Yeah, we get 15, but we've sacrificed 10. I think so. We basically get 5. If I'm right.
I think what I read is. Anything over £21 million, Coventry get 10%.
Yeah.
And we get 15% of that 10%.
Right. Okay.
So it's, I don't know.
So we get 5%.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Not a lot, but...
God, my maths was not great. I had to resit maths, so there's no point even trying it.
But there's a little bit of money to come back, which is always a welcome thing.
For sure. No, I wouldn't blame him for celebrating, I've got to be honest. He's a very impressive sort of way he's kicked on. But so what are we thinking then? Going into sort of the next pre-season games, we're starting to see the squad taking shape. Starting to see a few sales. I mean, obviously, Evan Ferguson and Pervis Estupiñán look like they are going to go. Milan put a very laughable bid in of, I think, around £10 million for Pervis Estupiñán, if you believe Italian media, plus bonuses, which is still not enough. Obviously, I'd imagine the valuation is considerably higher than that. At least I'd like to hope so. And Evan Ferguson's off to Roma by the looks of it. I'd imagine by the time this gets out, I reckon it'll be done. Whether it be a loan with an option to buy, whether it'll just be a straight loan, I think all options are on the cards. But I wouldn't be surprised to see us sell him at this stage. There's no smoke without fire.
I still want to keep him, signed to give him another chance. But
agree.
A loan's probably a good thing for him now. So. As long as it's a loan where he actually gets to play rather than sit on the bench at West Ham. So. But yeah, we'll see. Because he's not in the. Is he in the squads for the pre-season?
No, he's not been.
He's not even travelled with them. I don't know.
Don't think so. Not that I've seen him anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen him in any of the photos either. But we got another game coming up this weekend in Marbella. Yeah, which is, I think, for fans, is a bit of a travesty that. Brighton are playing 3 games in Marbella, which is really easy to get to, and they're all behind closed doors. But that'd been such a good summer holiday. Just go to Marbella and
watch Brighton in between.
That'd be brilliant. But,
it would be cool.
Not allowed.
no, it wouldn't be allowed. Why would it be? But so Pervis, how do you feel about Pervis going?
Yeah, I said before, I think we've seen him at his peak, and he's on the decline a bit. But with the Kuiper, is it? I don't know how. First team ready he is. I'm assuming he is. So we've signed him, and hopefully he'll kick on and allows us to sell Estupiñán, and then I don't know who else is left back that we've got.
How much is he worth? He's got to be more than 30, 40 million.
Well, I don't know if he's worth maybe 20. I'd go for
20.
Yeah, he's getting a bit older, and he's a proven Premier League player.
Yeah, he's 27, 28. Technically, I'd say he's technically
maybe more than 20, maybe 30.
Yeah, I think 30 to 40. I think, but I just can't see any Italian team doing that. They're so broke out there; it's insane, and every club's in an absolute mess. And I can't imagine Milan spending much. But he said that he wants to join there, which puts a bit of pressure on the club. So it'll be interesting. But De Calpe, he's there. Obviously, Fodi Kadioglu is still not seen yet, and I'd love to see him one day. You know, it'd be great to know if he actually can play football or not. Turkish fans tell me he can, but I've got no other evidence to suggest that. But no, joking aside, it would be good to see him back into the team, and he's a left back cover for us. Yeah, cool. I think that's just about everything covered. That's the week of Brighton and Hove Albion
so
that's been so far. I guarantee you once again something will happen on social media and we've missed something crazy. But Brett, anything else from you, mate?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah?
It's been a pleasure as always.
Yeah, really enjoyed having you down. Make sure you come to Caxton Arms. Again, we've tried to put the menu there. If you can see it, you can see it. If you can't, you've got to come here to have a look at it yourself. But yeah, make sure you come. There's a great Mitoma shrine here as well, which a lot of the Japanese fans really found cool. They said, I have to come here. Someone from Japan tweeted me saying, I've got to come over just to see that Mitoma shrine. And I can tell you it's just as cool as you can imagine. But we need Kuru to sign that shirt. That's one thing we need to get done. But yeah, make sure you come down. We'll see you very soon. Make sure you like the video, comment, subscribe if you're new, and streaming platforms, make sure on all of those. Give us a review as well. And yeah, we'll see you very soon when Brighton are back. And yeah, thank you very much for being here.